Minutes after the hour, America. Hugh Hewitt from the Empire State Building. The edition of the New York City book tour continues as I'm out flogging the happiest life. But in a green room, I came across Jonathan Bailor, his book, The Calorie Myth. How to Eat More, Exercise Less, Lose Weight, and Live Better is skyrocketing up bestseller list. He's doing media everywhere. He's very, very hot in the world of books right now. And I got to talking. I just like him. He's a fun guy, but he just gave me the worst news of my life, which is that pizza, pretty much every kind that I eat, everywhere that I eat it, is not going to do me any good. Now, what do you base that heresy on?
Hugh, we got to look at the component parts of pizza. So the primary component of pizzas is refined wheat bleached flour, which is
Thank God, isn't it good? Yeah,
which is, well, you referenced, so it is good, but you referenced diabetes in the first segment, and this is one of the biggest tragedies we've actually seen in the modern era. In the past 100 years, Hugh, the incidence of diabetes and type prediabetes has increased by 100,000%. The economic burden of just type 2 diabetes in this country is now $50 billion greater than the economic burden of tobacco. And we joke,
and you're saying,
your point
about pizza.
And if you think back, and I know it sounds like heresy, but if you think back to maybe in the early 1900s, could you imagine if someone came out against smoking? It was heresy, and it was so deeply a part of our culture, but it was killing people. And that's the question we have to start asking now.
I got to ask, do you have any friends? Will anyone go to dinner with you? Or are you like the grind? Are you like the scold who says, yeah, you got to eat some kale?
I'm not, Hugh. The good news is that eating what I call sane foods, or what the research shows are to be the healthiest foods, you can enjoy all the flavors. So sweet, salty, savory, meaty, fatty, they're all available to us. Just think of it more like what you'd find at a higher end restaurant rather than a fast food restaurant.
I'm just not believing it, because I don't like vegetables. Give me V8 juice if that will do it. So do you really believe people who eat like I eat, or like Peter Dinklage, the guy who plays the bad guy, the good guy in Game of Thrones, says he eats like an 8th grade boy. So do I. And, give me chips and beer and that kind of stuff. So do you think America will actually believe you?
I think, Hugh, that people really like food that is delicious. You mentioned you like filet mignon.
Yeah.
You can eat all the grass-fed filet mignon you want. All of it that you want.
That's good news.
And I bet while we joked about kale over the break. Eating raw kale, no fun. But I bet you if we took some kale, put it in a cast iron skillet with some bacon fat, we salted it, you would devour half your plate of filet mignon and half your plate of kale. And you know what? You would get slim and trim and you would enjoy it.
I'm not believing bacon fat can redeem kale, but I'm willing to try it.
Bacon fat can redeem anything.
But are you saying bacon fat is okay?
Think about how many billions of people enjoyed bacon fat and didn't have the problems we have today.
Oh, that's pretty interesting, actually. And so, bottom line, run through it for people. People have to read the book. It's a long book. It's fascinating. It's very well written. Tell people what SANE means. I want to make sure they get the bottom line message of what you think they need to live like.
So healthy, as defined in this country, is not at all healthy, which is evidenced by our health outcomes, which are terrible. So we need to make healthy again. Health, or what is high-quality food, is defined by 4 factors in the scientific community. The S stands for satiety, how quickly the food fills us up and how long it keeps us full. The A stands for aggression, or how quickly that energy enters our bloodstream and the hormonal reaction it causes. The N stands for nutrition, how many vitamins and minerals we get. And the E stands for efficiency, or how easily our body can store that energy as fat. We want to eat water, fiber, and protein-rich foods. These are sane. These are foods that provide us the most of what we do need without giving us really any of what we don't need.
What is your opinion on Cherry Coke Zero, of which I have 6 to 8 a day?
Cherry Coke Zero is a great example of why focusing on calories can point us in the right direction, because a lot of people would tell you that's healthy because it has no calories in it.
Right.
But cigarettes also don't have calories in them.
And there's something wrong with those? No. What about this, though? Don't tell me this is bad. And again, if the fetching Mrs. Hewitt is listening, turn this off right now. But tell me more about this.
Hugh, I would say that you having diet Cherry Coke is better than having regular Cherry Coke.
Of course, there's no sugar. Right.
However, I would love if we could maybe get you some seltzer water with some natural non-caloric non-caloric sweeteners. So a xylitol, an erythritol, a stevia, or a Lohango, sweeten it that way.
What the hell did you just say? What were those things?
They're natural non-caloric sweeteners. So the first two, erythritol and xylitol, are sugar alcohols.
Are you sure those aren't antidepressants? They sound like something that comes with, in case of a 4-hour, you know what, you have to go to the doctor. Really?
Well,
what were those things?
And Hugh, it's ironic because they actually are antidepressants, because sugar addiction correlated with depression is actually a major problem in this country. So in some ways, if we could get people off sugar and onto sugar alcohols, which have been shown to be safe, we could actually do a lot of good.
Obvious question. My grandfather lived to be 101. He drank a lot of bourbon, smoked a lot of cigars, and my grandmother-in-law lived to be 99. She fried everything in butter and had sherry before 11 o'clock. My two grandmothers died of diabetes before the age of 55. People have genetic sets, and my thinking is all of this stuff really doesn't matter. It's your genetic package. How do you persuade me I'm not right?
You are in part right. There's plenty of people that smoke and don't get lung cancer.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we recommend smoking. It doesn't mean we sell cigarettes in schools to children. It doesn't mean we recommend smoking in moderation. We say, regardless of your genetic predisposition, if you don't want lung cancer, the best thing you can do is avoid smoking. Same thing applies here.
All right, so, and how do we have the average life expectancy increasing decade over decade, even with these horrible eating habits that you're working to change in the calorie myth?
We have people living longer, but the quality of their life is deteriorating rapidly, as evidenced by the healthcare crisis in this country. We're living longer but worse because we can prevent you from dying, but we can't enable health. There's a big difference between not dying and feeling great.
Now, in my book, The Happiest Life, I write about the fact that I have, contrary to what I might look like, run 13 marathons, including a personal best of 3:12. I'm actually a very, very good runner. I just was given a bad body type. And I believe that that's immunized me against heart disease. Am I wrong to believe that?
I'll put it this way, Hugh. I love the fact that you are active and that you run marathons, but I will mention that the modern exercise physiologic research is showing that shorter but higher intensity exercise has dramatically better cardioprotective effects than longer, low-duration exercise.
Well, I'm not doing anything now because I'm old and slow. But what about young people? Should they be doing these triathlons? I mean, you deal with this whole deal in the calorie myth. Should they be hyper-exercising the way they are?
Hyper anything is a stress for the body, and overstress is bad. We're underslept and over-exercised as a nation, so this is going to sound really weird. But one of the worst things you can do for your health is wake up early and jog.
You're kidding.
I would much rather, and the research
I am going to be dead before I get out of this building.
Sleep is therapeutic, Hugh. I'm going to tell everyone to eat more but healthy foods, exercise less but with higher quality, and sleep more.
You know, you've indicted my life. It's January 2nd, and you've just come in here and you've completely indicted my life.
Well, it's better than starvation.
I've done everything wrong.
That's what I'm here to do, to bring joy.
The calorie myth. Don't go anywhere. One more segment. If you have a question for, like, the biggest downer I've ever had as a guest, 1-800-520-1234. But it is a remarkably fun book, and he's a remarkably fun guy. CalorieMythBook.com. Jonathan Bailor is my guest. 1-800-520-1234. Connection to the Hugh Hewitt Show. 34 minutes after the hour, America. I'm going to talk with Rick Calvert about New Media Expo Las Vegas after the break, but I have 6 more minutes with my wonderful and fascinating guest, Jonathan Bailor. He's going to have to come back. CalorieBook.com is his website. CalorieMythBook.com. CalorieMythBook.com. I've got calls in Tampa, Maryland, Lake Arrowhead, San Antonio. Please be efficient, please. Craig, Tampa, you're on with Jonathan Bailor, author of The Calorie Myth. Go, Craig, go.
Good evening. First of all, Jonathan, I just want to ask you, I own a barbecue restaurant in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and am I helping people or hurting people? I get a lot of questions from people asking for gluten-free rolls, and would that help?
Great questions. Jonathan, go.
Gluten-free rolls would help, but I would actually encourage them to eat so much of what is your ideally grass-fed meat products that they were too full for the rolls. Grass-fed, humanely raised meat is incredibly good for us. So get so full of your grass-fed barbecue that you don't even need rolls, gluten-free or else.
You know, I got to send you bestfiletmignon.com. They're one of my great sponsors. It's all grass-fed and no hormones, and it's extraordinary meat. I'm so glad to hear you tell me that. That is at least one good thing you've said. Maryland, Dan. Go, Dan. You're on the Hugh Hewitt Show with Jonathan Bailor, author of The Calorie Myth.
Jonathan, good evening. You stressed a lot about the type and quality of food. What about the timing of eating, particularly? Have you had dinner?
Great question. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Dan, the research I've examined has been quite clear that it is the quality of food that is the primary determinant of health outcomes. I would recommend that you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. For some people, that's one big dinner. For some people, it's 6 small meals. However you eat.
Can you skip breakfast? Mom was wrong?
Well, it depends on who your mom was. But eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, and focus on food quality.
Let's pause. Here's another great, okay, finally you've agreed. I just don't eat breakfast. I don't care I eat a bagel or something. I just don't care for it.
We as a culture need to listen more to our bodies and less to what we think we're supposed to do. Our bodies aren't stupid.
Oh, that's 2 for you. Okay, you're redeeming yourself. Mary Kay in Lake Arrowhead, California. Mary Kay, you're on with Jonathan Bailor. Shoot.
Hi, Jonathan. I'm kind of concerned to hear Hugh talk about drinking 6 Diet Cherry Cokes a day. How do you compensate for the acidity in a diet soda over regular soda and the potential for gaining weight on a diet soda?
Well, it's a great point. And again,
no, it's not.
Neither are recommended, right? Smoking filtered cigarettes isn't a good option relative to unfiltered cigarettes. They're both not good for you. But, for example, my father's an addictions counselor. If you have someone who's taking crack cocaine and you can get them onto smoking cigarettes, it is a step in the right direction. It's about damage minimization. And I think Hugh's taking a step in the right direction. I think we can take him a few more steps. I want him on the air, too.
I used to smoke cigarettes till I was 40. And when the cigarettes went, then the diet soda came in, but so was I a runner at those times. Let me ask you in terms of tobacco products. My friend Prager is a huge cigar smoker. What do you make of those?
My research did not cover tobacco products, so sadly I don't feel qualified to answer that.
Fair enough. Let's go to San Antonio, K-Loop, and talk with Wayne. Go ahead, Wayne.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, listen, I was just listening to Jonathan talking about the difference between Diet Colas and sugar colas, and he was advising you to get off both of them. And based on what I'm learning from research doctors like Dr. Anthony Mercola, Dr. Dr. Russell Blaylock, and Dr. Al Sears, the diet soda you're drinking probably has aspartame in it and sodium benzoate.
Oh, okay, enough of me. But Jonathan, you're just not a diet soda fan, right?
No, again, all forms of soda are toxic. And if you look at any culture around the world, when things like soda get introduced into them, they become heavier and sicker. But again, Hugh is not drinking regular soda. He's drinking diet soda.
Let's finish up with about your passion. Because during the break, I was fascinated by that. You love doing what you're doing. It's a mission. You've lost money doing this. Hopefully the Calorie Myth will turn that around because you give away a lot of your content at your website. Just tell people why you're passionate about this.
Hugh, when I was a trainer, I was taught a certain approach. Eat less, exercise more. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for my clients. And it's not working for anyone in America. We're struggling more as a culture, more than we ever have, and we're trying harder. And literally, the economic and emotional burden that this misinformation has put upon us is criminal. The global burden, economic burden of obesity is now about $1.7 trillion. This is simply not sustainable. People want to talk about global warming. We can talk, but if we're all dead of diabetes and all sad because we're not achieving our health outcomes, none of that's going to matter. We have the science. We have the science to change people's lives, and it's my mission to get that science out there.
CalorieMythBook.com. Jonathan Bailor, congratulations from HarperCollins. You'll see him a lot around. I'm glad to have caught him first before he actually got supernova big. CalorieMythBook.com. Jonathan, Happy New Year to you and your lovely life, Angela. I'll be right back, America. Time to talk New Media Expo with Rick Calvert. It's coming up in Las Vegas next week. You should be there. It's the Hugh Hewitt Show.